forgot to bring some cutlery. As you can see, I'm camped out. I'm here in North Wales, not too far from Corwin. Bike ride tomorrow. As you see, my nature hike tent is up. Brought my little table with me. This is called the Quest Stick Table. I'll stick a link down in the description. To get some food on the go. For the second trip in a row, bought some steak, so I'm going to get that on the go. A nice warm cup of coffee, AeroPress. I've remembered to bring everything with me today, so I'm going to get a brew on the go. Gathered at the start of the Glywyddion. It's a 200 km Audax here in North Wales, outside of Yum Yums, and I've just spilt a little bit of coffee on me. That'll keep me warm for a little while, won't it? And as you can see, beautiful Welsh weather. Well, so far not a carrot ice in sight. Looks like I found one. Here we go. Make sure you get to pen number 2, carrot ice. Oh, that's my bike. You won't find carrot ice near my bike. Look at that.
Down and down again, don't you, before you can go right up, yeah.
This is a very lightweight setup. Got a tiny bag at the back there, and a thing at the front. Off to a wet start, heading south into a headwind, but soon about to head west and start going back north again, just in a bit of a small loop. As you see, I've got my fingerless gloves on at the moment. I did bring some full-fingered ones, but I thought if they're going to get wet, I won't be able to wear them later on at all. So I left those in my back pocket for the time being. Might get a little bit cold towards the end of this ride. Back in Wales, I love coming here. It's proper leafy though. So in this video we're comparing an English Audax with a Welsh Audax. I mean, what are the differences? Well, for starters, essentially they're both bike rides. I didn't want to call this video England versus Wales because I don't want any football like rollouts over here, so essentially they're both the same, I guess. Because fundamentally Audax is the same wherever you ride. What are the differences between Wales and England when it comes to riding a bike then? Let's go through them one by one. Let's start with terrain. Okay, Wales is a big place, so is England, so it's hard to see any much difference really. I mean, there's plenty of hills in Wales, certainly more mountains than there is in England. England's got some nice climbs and things, so I think, to be fair, it's 1 point each really. They're very comparable. There's nothing outlandish here apart from scenery. I mean, the scenery is amazing in Wales, and it is in England as well, but there's such fantastic views all the way through Wales from top to bottom. So I think Wales inches ahead and gets an extra point. Sorry, England. If you want a beautiful ride in the hills through the woodlands, can't beat Wales if you live in the UK. Although you could. And in this video we're not even going to talk about Scotland, because that's in a different league. When England and Scotland and Wales were getting divided centuries ago, it's almost as if the English kept all the shit bits. So let's take a look at more of this Welsh scenery. Plenty still to come today in this ride. It's 3,500 metres of climbing, so expecting a lot more elevation later in the day. But already, as I've moved away from the water at Bala, yeah, just mountains everywhere. Let's compare some results between England and Wales, shall we? Oh, hello horses. And it's not horses, it's sheep. So many more sheep in Wales than there was in England. It's definitely more things to look at, isn't it? I guess it's a little bit unfair being in Wales comparing. Maybe I'll do a future video about England versus Wales. Llanllywodchen. That's the first control point at 30k. And for anybody who's watched my YouTube channels in the past, will know that I'm a fluent speaker of the Welsh language. Many people get me confused and think I was born here in Wales. If you're watching this and you're new to watching my channel and you're wondering what Audax is, so just coming up to the first control at Llywodchen, and basically in order to prove that I've been here, I just need to grab a receipt from a shop or take an ATM receipt or something like that. So I'm just looking for a shop now. As you've seen so far, I've been riding by myself. There's another group of about 5, 6 started ahead 2 minutes earlier, and I wasn't quite ready. I've just left the control point, basically for petrol forecourt at Llywodchen, the East Star garage, which I've been to many times, at least twice now this year. And as I was getting up to the fork, that group were just leaving, so I've just nipped in, got a couple of flapjacks and a sausage roll. So I'm hoping to catch them up now. Up front's got 3 riders from Crew Clarion Wheelers. Trying to say that would have had a few drinks. There's John up there as well, who has been in my videos in the past. I might actually link to a previous video when I was here in the northwest. Some great memories. I was going to say it was when I first started my channel up, but my channel's been going for maybe 4 or 5 years now. I'll have to do some highlights videos, I think. Pick out some great moments, because it's been such a journey over the last few years, and I love sharing my experience with you guys. Anyway, next control, another 30k away. It's an info control. An info control is basically a question. So it'll be a question about the landscape. So I just need to, I don't have a pen. Don't carry a pen, that's too much weight. I'll put the answer on my phone. I'll remember it for later. Right, anyway, tailwind, would you be? It's going to be significantly harder catching up on a tailwind as a group, but hopefully these hills will keep on going and slow them down. Before I talk a bit more about England versus Wales, I want to talk about something else briefly, and that is going into next year. I'm training for PvP and other things that are yet to be decided, and one area I will be improving on when I'm going to spring is nighttime riding. It's one area I failed on with the TCR. I think for the first half, if I'd done lots of night riding, may have cancelled out the effects of all that dog chases and things in Eastern Europe where I didn't ride after dark. So, come the spring, I'm going to do some overnight rides and things like that. As you might notice while I was just talking then, cars, traffic, how does the traffic compare? From my experience going around Wales over the last few years, so much quieter on the roads in Wales. Sure, you do get busy stretches, like you do where, you know, in England. You get the quiet areas and things like that. But comparing as a nation, there's so many more quieter roads here in Wales. You know, England's been urbanised, industrialised, bastardised, whatever other eyes you like to think of. Whereas all the scenic bits are in Wales and Scotland, aren't there? So things are a little bit slow paced, and yeah, beautiful. That sun is up. Be taking my arm warmers down soon, I think. Starting to warm up a little bit. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll stay like this and I'll miss the showers, because it's meant to be a sunshine and showers kind of day. This route along here is really good. Not only is it's very scenic, got that tailwind as well. There's another example of my perfect Welsh there. I told you, fluent. Anyway, it's wet, a bit windy. I should put my glasses back on again. I was catching up just a moment ago, but important lesson I've learned on Audax is look after yourself. Especially when you've still got over 100 miles to go. So I'm stopping in a second. I'll catch them up a bit later. Hello. Oi, stop looking. Okay, got a couple of things to talk about. First of those is avoiding the mud. Let me just get through this first. Where was I? Yeah, up front here, this cover I've got on my phone. I'll put up a link in the corner to a previous video. Believe it or not, that's on a quad lock. Now, I didn't go and buy the whole thing off Amazon, made it myself. Or rather, you know, it's a typical waterproof case, but I've adapted it a little bit. If you want to find out how, go check out that video. Although something I have noticed in this ride, this only applies to my setup, is at the top here, sat underneath the Garmin, it just keeps rattling against it all the time, which means I should take that out of my pocket, take this off really, just put the phone on by itself. So coming up to the first information control. What's it say on the blue sign? Should be seeing it pretty soon. I hope I haven't missed it. It's an interesting forest name, Clochnog. Although my Welsh is top notch, I'm not familiar with this part of Wales. So many forests and colourful trees, all those colours of autumn. Beautiful. Anyway, now I'm a little bit further up the road. The one other thing I wanted to talk about was training for next year, and I've touched on it before in the last few videos, and that is hills, hill climbing. So this particular ride, the Clwydian, sure that's how you pronounce it. Like I said, I'm not from this part of Wales. It's worth 3.5 AAA points. So what does that mean in English? It means for every 100 kilometres there's at least 1,000 metres of climbing, at least, because it's 3.5. It's 1 point per 1,000 metres, you see. So it's very hilly basically. It's a Grimper sort of Audax event, I think that's how you pronounce it. But for me the training is going to be about trying to be a bit more efficient and working on my pace up the hills and things. It's not enough for me to come out here and do loads of climbing. I must get better at it. Exactly, means pacing myself better and have different sort of expenditure when it comes to energy and things like that. So yeah, that's what the next 8 to 10 months could be all about really. Oh my god, look at that sky behind me. It's chasing me. Just another forecourt, SR this time, near Loggerheads. Oh god, it has absolutely poured it down, and I tell you what, autumn and winter seems so long ago that it hit me like a stone, so I'm more drenched and cold And back at the Logheads, was the name of a pub, the 3 Logheads. I didn't even know, I just pulled in because I was that cold. I wanted to get out of the rain, wind and rain and stuff. I didn't even know it was like the control point. Anyway, I ended up here at the garage. Like I say, I didn't know it was the control point, so I ordered a pint, didn't get my receipt. Stayed in there, I was like, I'm not leaving. And I went to the toilet, and I have stuffed loads of, look, loads of blue roll inside my leg warmers, because my leg warmers are only really designed to, you know, moderate rainfall, keep my leg warm, but once they got wet and drenched, it got really cold. Don't know where you can see it in the picture, it's pretty far away, but the Irish Sea over there, and right in the middle of the picture is the bridge at Chester, the Chester Greenway. So that means off to the left is Connors Quay somewhere, and the border between England and Wales. Well, what a ride it's been so far. I'm actually nice and snug and warm again, so we're going to stay dressed like this for the rest of the ride now. But yeah, it's been quite a shocker, the weather. It's really has been a surprise. So this Audax has been the inaugural running, I think. I've said on the website. It's hail again. Yes, hailstone, believe it or not. And it's been very cold, this hail. Another thing, in British weather, I've not been used to this year because it's been such a mild year, hasn't it? But finally the cold is here. I'm at Bonty New Wed. There's this beautiful house here. Look at those red leaves. 2 3/4 miles. So it's exactly the same answer as I put for the last one. Anyway, let's find out where the next place is, which is a control point, which means have something to eat. But interestingly, I've talked about food and drink. I've had this lime drink in my pocket since like 10:30 this morning, and I've had a sausage roll in since the very first control. Needs to be eaten. Anyway, on that note, let's go. There you go, folks. As the sign says, I'm at the beach. Didn't really want to get the camera out because look, it is raining. It's been pissing it down again. But yeah, there's the sea. Enjoy it. Right, I'm off. It's been quite a pleasurable ride. There's less than 40 miles to go. The sun's going to be going down soon. If I don't whip the camera out before then, I'll see you at the finish. Look at that. Oh, ride over. So let's. What can I tell you about it? Some highlights, I guess. Bala Lake at the beginning. Towards the end, after dark, there was Lynbraen. And the what was the other lake called? I can't remember now. Brunarg, I think it's pronounced. Up the highest climb of the day. For the I looked on Strava earlier. I cheated. It's through the Alwyn plantation, but it's kind of was just to the east of Hafford, which is the national park there. I recognise that sign. I've watched a few wild camping videos through there, and I'd love to say it was beautiful, but it was pitch black, arrived after dark, and the wind was so really stormy. It was about 450 metres above sea level, so not that high, but high by the, the British Isles, and the wind was pretty horrific at times. But as you can see, I made it okay. Apart from all those highlights there, I mean, the main standout feature really was the rain and the cold. It's pretty rainy, and the kind of cold took me by surprise because obviously 2022 has been a very dry year, and it's been a while since I've had weather like that. At least it has been for me, and the cold just hit me. Even though I had all my clothes with me, it was just
a little bit too much. I can't remember if I said earlier, but I stopped at a pub and I started stuffing blue roll down my leg warmers and in bits of my chest and around my back, especially the smaller my back. I get quite cold down there, so I looked like the Michelin Man for a little while. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Really recommend that Audax. Hopefully that route takes place next year. The Clwydian, it was a 200 km Audax, 3.5 AAA points. Great place to visit, as always, is Wales. Great route, and even though there was a lot of elevation, there was nothing mega steep. It was pretty much rolling. There was just lots of rolling countryside, to be fair. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any comments, questions, stick them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.